Look, I'm talking to myself like a maniac, but honestly, my life is better through that. Back then, I was a terrible, terrible people pleaser. I had zero confidence, no real friends, and no girls into me. Today, everything is different. I have charisma and confidence, I have the best friends I can imagine, and I enjoy beautiful relationships with women. And honestly, all of that isn't magical. This transformation isn't magical. I started to embrace talking with myself all the time. And my life surprisingly improved by that. Which you do not expect because you think, okay, this guy is talking with himself, something is wrong with him. But actually, it is such a healthy thing to do, to talk with yourself. I don't necessarily mean like looking into the mirror and being like, it is about embracing yourself. It is about analyzing yourself and getting to know yourself. You try to be yourself. You try to be authentic. You have the need to be seen by the world. You want to be appreciated by other people. Everyone wants it. I want it too, of course. We want to be seen. We want to be appreciated. But for what do you want to be appreciated? If you cannot show your true self to the world, for what do you want to be appreciated? Because that's the thing we actually want to be appreciated for deep inside ourselves. We want to show our real self, our heart basically, to the world. And then we want the world to look at us, see us, and appreciate us in a sense of that we feel valued, we feel worthy. But now let me ask you this question. How do you want to show yourself to the world if you don't actually know yourself? You try to read a page from a book to the outside world, but the page is blank. There is nothing written. That is the point of talking to yourself. It is not about being a maniac. It's not about being a psycho. It's not about being crazy. It's about getting to know yourself. And one of the most effective ways is to literally talk with yourself like a maniac. Just to put a picture in your head. When you are alone and you're sitting on your bed, let's say, just look at the wall and think to yourself, you can speak it out loud. You can have it in your head or you can speak it out loud. Just, well, it was a good day today. I really enjoyed it. Especially the conversation with Tommy. It was actually pretty good. Just like that. Another exercise you can do is to write it down. You don't have to speak because maybe you will actually feel like a psychopath. But you can write it down. You can literally write it down. It was a beautiful day. It is about embracing yourself. It is about stopping to hide your true self. Because let's be honest, we hide from ourselves. We don't want to embrace ourselves because it can be scary. There are a lot of things we like about each other, about our true selves. But at the same time, we need to embrace our weaknesses, our dark sides. And that is actually scary. We need to see it and admit it. Okay, I sometimes have those dark feelings. I sometimes have those dark thoughts. In Jungian psychology, this is called the shadow. Everybody of us has a shadow inside, which are those dark feelings, those thoughts you are not allowed to say. You're not allowed to think them because they are dark, they are brutal, they are scary. But that is the big point here. You need to embrace this shadow as well. In Jungian psychology, it is said for a human being to be aligned, to be full, to be authentic to the world, he needs to integrate the shadow into his persona, into his character. It does not mean that you should act on those dark feelings, on those dark thoughts you might have. And just to put it, just to say it out loud, sometimes you're angry at someone and you think to yourself, I want to punch this guy. I want to hit him. I want to break his jaw. You cannot neglect it. You have this thought sometimes. And the important thing is, of course, you don't act on it. You don't act on it. That is the important part. You don't act on it. Absolutely not. But you need to acknowledge that those thoughts are there. There is some shadow inside of me. There is this dark part of me that creates those feelings and those thoughts. If you neglect your shadow, or if you suppress your shadow, if you have those thoughts and things and say, no, this is inappropriate, I shouldn't be feeling that, I'm a bad person for feeling that, or for thinking that, no, I suppress it. What happens? Imagine you are in a pool and in the water, and you put a ball, like the water ball to play with. You put it under the water, and you hold it there, but it does not stay. When you let go of it, it jumps up again out of the water. And that is the point. You hold it down all the time till you don't have the strength anymore to hold it down, because the pressure is there. The pressure is there all the time. Suddenly you don't have the strength anymore. And what happens? The ball snaps back into the air. That is the same thing that can happen with your shadow. If you suppress it all the time, and if you don't acknowledge that it is there, because you're so scared and afraid of it, there might be a moment in your life where your shadow snaps. And then those thoughts of, I want to break the jaw of this guy, isn't a thought anymore. It turns into the action. And then you actually have a problem. So, what I mean by that, what I mean by embracing yourself, from the one side, it is about getting to know yourself, getting to know your good sides. What are you good at? What do I like? What do I appreciate in other people? But at the same time, to acknowledge the dark thoughts, you need to take the power away from them. If you have the ball underwater, there is the pressure, the ball has power to snap up into the air. But if you just take the ball and let it float on the surface of the water, it is there. It is there. You know it is there. You let it be there. But by letting it be there, by acknowledging that it is there, you take away all its power. You take away all the power of this shadow, because it just floats. There is no tension. It cannot snap in the air suddenly. But you have to leave it at the surface of the water. You have to see it. You have to acknowledge it. And you can only see and acknowledge it if you embrace yourself. If you embrace yourself, you can be sure about, okay, I know there is a monster inside of me. I know there is a shadow inside of me. But I can see it, and I have it under control. Because I can see it, because I have neutralized it. I have neutralized it because I took the power away from it. Because I stood there, even though I was afraid of embracing it, but I embraced it. And I took the power away from it. And now it's harmless. You cannot be seen by the world if you don't see yourself. And why I embraced or I emphasized the shadow so much in this video is because the shadow can be very dangerous if you suppress it. It can be very, very dangerous for your own life and for others. But as I said it before in this video as well, the same concept is for the good traits you have. I mean, I say it again. How can you be seen by the world if you cannot see yourself? How do you want to be appreciated by your kind-hearted side if you don't know anything about your kind-hearted side? Or maybe you are a funny guy. You have a much humor or creativity. How can you know? How can you be seen for that creativity and appreciated for that creativity if you don't know anything about your creativity, because you don't embrace it, because you don't live it? And by sitting there and literally just thinking to yourself, well, I'm creative. What new ideas do I have? Or what do I appreciate in people? I appreciate honesty. Oh, okay, I appreciate honesty, so I'm gonna be honest myself. And now you can be honest to the world. The world sees this guy is honest, and the world can actually appreciate you for your honesty. Because you saw in yourself, I appreciate honesty, and I actually want to be an honest person, and I am an honest person. That is the point. You want to be real, you want to be authentic. How do you want to be that if you don't know yourself? If you cannot be real to yourself, and if you cannot truly show yourself to yourself, how are you supposed to show it to the world and be appreciated and seen for it? So embrace yourself. If it's necessary, talk to yourself like a maniac. Honestly, if you think about it, I'm talking to myself like a maniac right now. Nobody is in this room. I'm talking to the camera. And I'm imagining that you, the viewer, that you see it and I'm talking to you. But when you look from the outside, I look like a psychopath right now, probably. But it's okay. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I know myself through that. I know myself. I had reflections and ideas in my head because I can speak it out, because I can just yap about stuff. I yap and yap and yap and yap, and then suck. There is an idea, there is a reflection in my head. There is something I did not know about myself. I'm yapping, and then wait a moment. I know why I was like that. Because blah 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 blah. I literally reconstruct stuff in my head from the past so I can understand myself more. And this works because I am talking to myself. So do the same thing for the sake of your life so you can improve your life. Embrace yourself.